What's up, fight fans? This is Sab from Global Fight Talk here with my very good friend, Deontae Scott. How you doing, big homie?
What's going on? I'm good, man.
Good, good. Thank you for being on the show, man. So
Yes,
you've been doing amateur boxing for how many years now?
going on two. Going on two.
Going on two. I ain't gonna lie. When I heard that you were boxing, I was like, oh, okay, that's what's up. That's cool. And then I seen you on Facebook or on Instagram, one of them hitting the bag, and I was like, oh, he's taking this seriously. That's scary. Because I mean, some people don't know you. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know you're a big guy. You're a real big guy. About how tall are you?
6'4".
6'4". How much you weigh?
Yeah.
How much you walk around?
Yeah, I fluctuate from 230 from 225 up in that area.
Okay, so we heavyweight or we cruiserweight when we fight?
I'm super heavyweight, so
Super
201 plus.
Okay, that's what's up. All right. So how's that been going for you so far?
Man, it's been a grind. Being that I started in the pandemic, so it was kind of hit or miss going to the gym. We'll go to the gym a little bit, and then CDC will have the gym shut down because of that and want to spread the coronavirus. So we go to the park, run, do all that good stuff with the pads and coach. But I pretty much I watched boxing, I pretty much locked in on it, and I just stayed disciplined. I did everything I was supposed to do, everything much as I could to continue to learn the game of boxing, just transition over from football to boxing. It wasn't as hard. The only thing was different was the lifting part. The boxers don't lift, so
Wow.
Not like that, just for high reps or something to keep the endurance up or for speed, but not like, football players usually lift. So I could say it's been truly, it feel like I belong, and I feel like this probably something I should have been doing before because it feels normal. I've never been so locked in on the sport until I started boxing. So,
well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad it was a smooth transition for you. Like, I think it was Teddy Atlas said, is lifting weights either bad for boxers or is it really bad for boxers? So I mean, in the whole community is like you gotta lay off on it. And they all say that. So like you talked about your transition a little bit. So I know, I mean, we went to Angelo State together. You know what I mean? You was a football player. Then you was a prison guard for a little bit, right?
Yeah, well, it was for the county. I worked as a detention officer. It's a little difference, but do the same thing.
Right. So how did you get into the sport of boxing? Like what gravitated you to the sport?
Well, I wanted to do something competitive again because I was applying to jobs. I was trying to work with law enforcement, which I did for a year. I'll get into that, but I wanted to learn how to do like takedowns and stuff like that. So I originally started going to a MMA gym, and I started liking that, but I didn't like the way they strike, how they throw punches. So a little time went by. That was in 2019, and so I'm like, man, I just want to do something. I want to do something that's competitive, that's going to challenge me and push me, and I feel like I'm still an athlete. You know what I mean? So I was like, why not box? And it seemed crazy to myself. I was like, why would I want to box? I got a whole bachelor's degree over here. Like, I don't need to be boxing. But when I stepped into the boxing gym, it was like I belong. The training, just the atmosphere of everything, just hitting the bag, jump rope, shadow boxing, just that constant sweat and just that focus that you have when you're in there. If you're taking it serious, which I am, it makes you want to continue to come back. But like, I'm not gonna lie, when I first walked in there and started sparring, I'm like, man, I don't know if I really want to do this here. Yeah. Like getting hit because you learning, so that's how you learn. But at the same time, you don't want to take punches like that. So I was like, man, I got to keep coming back. I got to keep getting better. I got to stay in shape. I got to do what coach tell me to do. I got to listen. And it wasn't a hard transition for me, being that I was an athlete in the position I played in football, which was a wide receiver. And the footwork and everything it was like second nature to me. Just the punching and having the endurance was just so much different for me. Yeah. So the transition wasn't as hard at all to me because I'm always working hard. I love to train. So yeah.
I mean, I understand. I know a lot of other former athletes and people that competed in lower levels. It kind of builds this fire in you, and you kind of gotta feed the fire all the way throughout your life. I mean, for me, it's video games, but it's got to be something, you know what I mean? And that's what happened to fighters later on in their life. Very often, they got to feed that fire, and then they try to walk away, and then they want to feed it again. So it's kind of a slippery slope, you know what I mean? So I'm glad you're transitioning so well. It's such a nice home for you because a lot of people go in there, they're uncomfortable and they don't belong there. So kudos on that. So you competed in the Texas Games last month, right?
Yeah, just this weekend just passed. It's
Oh,
called
okay.
Games of Texas.
Mhm.
It used to be like a 4-day tournament, but it was only 2 days. I competed in that along with some teammates, and I ended up winning the gold. They treat it's like the Olympics, so you secure a bronze if you advance, and if you win out, you win a gold medal. And I ended up winning the gold medal, so that was big. It was a big accomplishment for me. I had goals to win it. I actually ended up last minute knowing I was going to fight because I hurt my hand 6 weeks prior to knowing that I was going to fight in that. And I ended up I registered for it. I signed up and I said, well, I'm going to fight. And I trained 3 weeks, even harder because I had already been training. And I did what I said I was going to do. And I went down there and won it. So that was big for me.
Yeah,
So,
that's huge, man. Congratulations, for real, for real.
oh yeah, man, I appreciate it. It's just like, man, I want it, but I still know that I can do more. Like I could have done better. Like I want to continue to get better. That's the thing I like about boxing. You can continue to get better.
Always.
Like continue to learn what you did, learn from your mistakes, because if you fighting somebody that's more experienced than you, they see certain things and
Hmm.
boxers win fights off of other guys' mistakes.
Right.
So they capitalize on that. So
So every day in the gym, you sharpening that tool, you making those mistakes a little fewer and fewer. That was kind of leads me into my next question. What are some areas that you want to work on in the future? What are some of the things that you feel like you need to improve on to take the next step in your career?
for me, since I started late, I walked in the gym at 26. I was turning 27 that summer. I'm 28 now. So, I'm for heavyweights, it's longevity. So I'll last a little longer for heavyweights. But for me, just catching up, just learning and just getting that sparring, the quality sparring from actually other heavyweights to really get the feel. It's just like playing receiver, running routes, just
Reps.
you start playing football in high school, haven't played when you was a kid, you kind of gonna be behind.
Hmm.
Like you might be a little slower to learning how to move your feet or, not necessarily the mental part. You might know the plays, but the skill might not speak for itself because you behind. So I'm catching up. And that's the only thing for me. It's critical because if I was to stop, man, it'll be so hard to get back to
Right.
for as like a kid that was 7 years old. He's 21 now. He been in the game long, so he used to a lot of different stuff in the boxing world. So just if I had to say anything, the tough part for me would be experience. Trying to get that experience up fast as I can before I turn pro.
Yeah, that's the thing about fighting. A lot of different sports, kids start out around, 12, 13,
Yeah.
15, stuff like that. But in combat sports like karate, boxing, wrestling, stuff like that, people are doing it from, 4 or 5 years old. So when you decide to
Yeah.
join a sport when you're already grown, you are far behind those guys. You know what I mean? It's a little bit worse in like mixed martial arts and like kickboxing, stuff like that. But boxers have to deal with it too, because some of these guys I see videos of little 4 or 5 year olds not only hitting mitts, but they're holding mitts for each other. You know what I mean? It goes deep into their history. So also the amateur fights is a difference as well, because some boxers have only 4 or 5, maybe 12 amateur fights, and then there's guys that go like 100. So by the time you go pro, there's
Yeah.
that big gap of of
Yeah.
experience. So how many amateur fights do you plan on having?
I want to. The biggest thing with the how many, because if I wanted to say how many, I probably could fight for a couple of years to get my fights up to get the experience. But for me, time is ticking.
Right.
So I want to at least get at least about 30, 15 to 30, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to get that experience of getting comfortable in the ring. You know, I'm fighting 1 minute right now because I'm a beginner in the sport and everything was closed. So now that fights open up, I'm getting fights like every other month. So it's good to be in tournaments because each time you fight, that's a fight. So it adds up.
Right.
So I would say and at least about a year of fights. Try to get on the national level because when you start as a 1 minute, 3 1 minute rounds, then they go to 3 2-minute rounds, and then they go to 3 3-minute rounds, and that's prepping you for the pros because the first pro fights is 1 minute. 3 minutes, 4 rounds. So without headgear no more, then you take off the headgear. So, you know, I say once I find the state and national level, do well, win, then by the time I'm 29, I go ahead and turn over to the pros. So it won't be long.
Right. I already
So,
know. I feel like it's probably going to be looking back on this interview and I'm going to be like, damn, I interviewed him while he was an amateur. And I felt like yesterday, but that was like 2 years ago. And you know what I'm saying? You're already big time in the pros. So where are you trying to take yourself in this sport though? Like, what are your goals? What's the end goal for you?
Honestly, my goal is I don't want to dodge nobody. I want to fight everybody. You know, I want to build myself. Honestly, since I'm behind, you know, who know how guys work, you know, he might put me somewhere where I can be making big money early on in the sport, you know, who knows? But I just want to make good money. I want to be able to invest my money and I want to be able to invest in stuff like real estate, you know, buy some land. You know, I want to be able to help my family out, man. That's why I joined the sport of boxing, you know, to one day be able to help them. So, and just, you know, just help people, you know, just give people hope and, you know, kids, because I when I was at Angelo, I played and, you know, I messed up and I didn't get the opportunity to show my talent like I was supposed to for certain situations I put myself in, you know, that I learned from. But do I have any regrets? No, because it put me in a place now where I could still be the same person I am, which is a hard worker and continue to push myself to be the best. So I just see myself just continue to grow. I thought about acting someday, you know, just, you know, getting into commercials, whatever, man, whatever it takes, man, because I have an open mind. I don't care about talking to people in public. It's easy for me to do. I'm a people's person, so, you know, I don't mind that. So with boxing, you know, you have to sell yourself. So you have to know how to talk and you have to know how to, you just be comfortable with being around a lot of people because people gonna say this and that, or you might say you trash or
Right.
you know, and you a fighter, you know, you gotta have a fighter mentality, but you also gotta be focused.
Right.
So I don't think I'd be able to do it if I wasn't the person that could focus and be disciplined. So I could see myself going high, bro. I
And
really
that's
can.
something you kind of learn from football a little bit. Just
I learned a
focusing,
lot from
you know.
the football side of it. I revert back to football all the time, and I'm in the gym and I'm talking to young fighters. I just like in football, you know, we did this, and you know, it's just certain stuff like, you know, holding each other accountable. You know, not making excuses. You know, just pushing yourself, not taking a round off, or you know, just same thing with football, not taking
Right.
a sprint off, you know, jogging a sprint, you know, and then sprint hard when it's the last one. Like you can't do that because it will show in the boxing ring. It will show.
Oh yeah, 100%. I
So,
read something that you kind of touched on a little bit earlier in this interview about how when you make a mistake in boxing, you're physically hurt for it, and that's a big life lesson. Like you got to be on your P's and Q's all the time. One little mistake you make in the boxing ring, and you know what I'm saying, you get clipped upside your head, you get wobbly. So that's
you don't
kind
feel
of
good.
yeah. That's a nice lesson to learn, and I think the person that posted that was kind of convey a message about how everybody should try boxing. Obviously, I'm gonna do a little bit of training, but I'm not getting in the ring, Deontae.
I remember,
Okay.
man, it's crazy, you know, with that, now that you just said that, because a lot of kids out here in Houston, they want to come to the gym like, oh man, I want to go pro. Then coach like, hey, spar, you know, do this and that. You spar with them, then you see like
And for
Man, you
you.
go pro, man. It's not going back, bro. Like you can't go back to amateur career, bro. Like it's over with. So you need to get that experience, build the confidence, and know get a coach that work with you every day. And then if your coach like, yeah, I think you're ready now. And if he say that, then you ready.
Right.
You know, in terms of IQ, you know, how in shape you if you always in shape. And you know you come to the gym every day.
Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of fighters are deep into their careers and they're not even fight fans themselves. So how big of a fight fan are you? You watch boxing and MMA on a regular basis?
If I'm not in the gym, I'm watching boxing. Like I'm watching boxing right now on my TV right now.
Okay, that's
you
so.
know, and I like MMA too because I started doing that one first.
Mm-hmm.
So
who are your favorite
I'm
guys?
into it. I'm interested in it all because it's just hype, man. It's all hype. I love it.
I love it. I love it to death. That's why I give my all to MMA and boxing, man. Like there's nothing like watching a fight. Who are your favorite boxers out right now?
Ah, man, I like small boxers for some weird reason, man, because I'm a heavyweight. So I watch them. But man, I'm a big fan of Shakur Stevenson. He trains out of my gym here. He signed under Jay Prince. I like Terrence Crawford. I'm a big Terrence Crawford fan. And I also like Earl Spence. And you know he finna fight Pacquiao on the 22nd this month. So
let me go on record as saying I think Earl Spence is about to beat the hell out of Manny Pacquiao.
Man, that's gonna be wild, man. I already know it's gonna be wild. You know, Pacquiao still, you know, he's not the same, but he still got that hard work ethic and he got that experience for sure. But it's gonna be a little different for him.
Yeah, most definitely still a great fighter, very, very dangerous. I just think Errol Spence is still getting better with every performance, and he just hasn't showed us his top level yet. This might be a signature performance. You know, Shakur and Jamel Herring are supposed to fight. I read that the other day.
Yeah, I believe it's supposed to be November 9th, something like that. It's a mandatory fight, so for the WBO, because he's trying to go through him and then get to Oscar Valdez for the WBC world title. So it's funny because he trained out there in Colorado, the same place that Jamel Herring trains at. So he's not going to go there this time. He's going to have to go somewhere different because they all was training with the same coach that Terrence Crawford trains with. So it's just everybody know each other, but when it's time to fight, man, you gotta
separate.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man. So
all right, before I let you go, let me get two heavyweight picks from you real quick. Wilder Fury 3, October 9th. Who you got?
Man, if Wilder, I believe Wilder gonna come to fight. But if he doesn't come to box and just trying to knock Fury out, I think it's not gonna be like last time, but I think it'll end in a split decision. If he can just show up and just try to box a little bit. But if he try to look for that right hand, it's gonna be hard for him to get to Fury because Fury a boxer puncher. He off the jab for sure, like the whole fight. He controlling the fight with his jab. So I would like to see Wilder get back on the throne, to be honest, because if nobody really realized, like he won 40-something fights with knockouts.
All knockouts, besides
and
one.
Like all knockouts. So Fury the only person to beat him the way he was, and I don't think he was right when they fought the first time. That's just my opinion. Hey, I don't care about the excuses he made or how he felt, but I just know he wasn't on how he used to be, you know, so.
Yeah, I didn't read a lot about that stuff. Real sketchy situation with that.
Yeah, man.
But anyway, regardless of that in the past, yeah, okay, so you're going with
I like to see Wilder get it back, man.
Me too. Bomb Squad for life. All right. Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk.
I say Joshua. I like Anthony Joshua.
Really?
He's a really good fighter.
Most definitely.
He's a little stiff to me. He doesn't use his jab like a normal heavyweight should, but Usyk, he's gonna bring it.
Oh, most definitely.
He's gonna bring it. He actually was a undisputed heavyweight champion for a while, and he's a lot smaller. He's like my size.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like 6'3".
He was undisputed at cruiserweight, wasn't he?
Cruiserweight. That's right.
Yeah,
It's cruiserweight.
Yeah.
And he lost his titles, but I think because he went up or something like that. But he's gonna bring it. But Joshua will finish him. It could be early.
Stop him?
It could be early. It could be. But Joshua gonna win the fight. If anything different, it'll be a shock to me.
Really? I mean, like you said, he doesn't really, he's kind of stiff. He doesn't really use his jab as much as you would like him to. So I feel like he fights like a robot sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he is. Like he throws the uppercut. If it's working, he keep throwing it. Right hand, he keeps throwing it. Like he don't really mix it up. He's not really like on the move. Like Fury, like a Fury. Like I don't think he'll beat Fury.
No,
I'm just honest about that. Because
I don't think he beats Wilder either.
No. I think Wilder knock him out.
Oh, he's going to sleep.
To be honest.
I 100% agree.
Styles make fights. So
yeah. All right, so we can wrap it up, man. Appreciate your time. You got any sponsors or shout outs you need to give out there?
Well, I don't have any sponsors yet.
Not yet.
Working on it.
Yes, sir.
But honestly, shouts out, man. Just to my coaches, man. Jay Prince Boxing Gym, you know, it's home for me. I love it. And just my coach Johnson, man, not too many people I know. I got one of the friends, lawyer friends. I box with his name Smash. We call him Smash. Him. And just Houston, man. Shout out to Houston, man.
Hey, shout out to Houston.
For sure, man.
Plug your socials, your social medias.
Okay, so my Instagram is at THE, and then my initials DS Fitness all together, and then my Facebook just Deontae Scott, and then my Twitter is the same thing, DDS Fitness.
All right.
So
appreciate you, my guy, man. I sure can't wait to see you back in the ring, man. I know you've been working hard, and I know the sky's the limit for you, my guy. So just keep at it, man, and keep rocking with Global Fight Talk, all right?
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Thank everybody for watching. Make sure y'all hit that like button, that subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Global Fight Talk out.
All right, brother.